Okay, I think it is getting live streamed here. Okay, I think everything is fine. So let me just start the recording and then. Okay. Om Badram Karne Bishunuyama Devaha Badram Pashye Makshabiryajatraha Sthirairangai Tuštuvagam Sastanubihi Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuhu Swasti na Indro Vriddashavaha Swasti na Pusha Vishwavedaha Swasti nastarkshyo arishtanemihi Swasti no Brihaspati'r dadhatu Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Okay. So we have almost come to the end of this second section of the second Mundaka. We have 3 more mantras. Hopefully we will look at all the 3 mantras today. Basically, the last 3-4 mantras are some sort of Palashruti, so to say, meaning what happens when this meditation that was described, etc., in this section, if sadhaka does, what will happen? That kind of closing mantras. Actually, last time when we met, we saw this shloka, Vidyate Hridaya Grantihi, Chidyante Sarva Samshayaha, Kshiyante Chasya Karmani, Tasmin Drishte Paravare. It's a very beautiful shloka. It says when that para is seen in the avara, when the higher is seen in the lower, which means the Jivatma has that aikya bhava of the Paramatma. The para is the Paramatma, the higher. Avara is the lower, which is the Jivatma. So Tasmin Drishte Paravare. In that, when that vision, that experience happens of Jiva Brahma Aikya. So that is what is indicated here. So Tasmin Drishte Paravare, 3 things will happen. Vidyate Hridaya Grantihi. This complex knot in the heart gets unknotted. We saw it in some detail in the last class. Chidyante Sarva Samshayaha. All doubts get destroyed. Kshiyante Chasya Karmani. All karmas evaporate. Of course, the prarabdha karma will be there till the body is dropped. But the agami karma and the sanchita karma, all of them evaporate. Kshiyante Chasya Karmani. Tasmin Drishte Paravare. That is what we saw. If you may recollect, I have been saying this again and again. This section is the most important section in Mundakopanishad because the core teaching is here. The Jiva Brahma Aikya. The need to understand that and a mechanism to meditate, etc. All those were part of. So in every Upanishad, there may be so many things told at the front and the back, but at the center would be the main piece. Even Taittiriya Upanishad, the Sikshavalli and Brihavalli are sort of upasanas. The main message was in Brahmanandavalli. In the same way, in the Mundakopanishad, the first chapter was an introductory chapter where question was there, what is para and apara vidya. Then the second section described the apara vidya, and it ended by saying that having parikshya lokan karmachitan nastya krito kritaha. I think this is not going to take us anywhere. So therefore, nirvedamayan samitapanihi brahmanishtam. So he went to, like that, the first section got over. In the second section, second Mundaka, in the first section, this Karya Karana was so beautifully described. How Nadyam, Samudre Astam Gachanti, that's how it starts. Or, Vispulingaha, Sahasra Pavakaha, just like these 1,000 sparks which come from the fire, belong to the fire only. Or all waters finally go to the, ocean. So the Karya Karana, we saw it in great detail. So all those were preparation, the preparatory messages. It is this section in which the Jiva Brahma Aikya was again and again told. And then Dhanurgrihitva, the Upanishad and all that arrow, everything that we saw, a method of meditation in the cart, Chetak Kuhare, in the heart. So all those were part of this Upanishad. So after that 8 mantras, the 9, 10, 11 is some sort of what you may call it as a Palashruti, so kind of a mantra, in the sense, what happens to that sadhaka when he or she realizes this Jiva Brahma Aikya. So that is where the last week mantra also, Vidyate Hriday Granthi, all that we saw. So it is followed by a couple of, again, beautiful mantras. So we will see them, and with that, this section gets over. So we have 3 mantras which we will see. So the 9th mantra, Hiranmaye pare koshe virajam brahma nishkalam tachubram jyotisham jyotis tadyadatma vido viduhu. Hiranmaye pare koshe virajam brahma nishkalam. There is no sandhi there. Each word is separate. So there is no padacheda required in the first line. Each word is separate. There is no sandhi. Whereas second line has a lot of sandhi. So we have to break it up. Tat Shubram is basically Tat plus Shubram. Tat plus Shubram becomes Tat Shubram. So Tat Shubram. Jyotisham Jyotihi. Tat Yat. So there is a Tat and Yat. That is why it is Jyotis Tadyadatma. It's all like that. Jyotihi Tat Yat Atma Vido Viduhu. So that is the Padacheda. So what is this mantra saying? We will see the basic meaning. I mean, just superficial meaning, word-wise, and then let us understand the Tatparya of that. Hiranmaye. Hiranmaye is golden. Correct? Hiranmaye pare koshe. That kosha is the ultimate kosha. Para is higher or ultimate. So that ultimate kosha, see, we have this pancha kosha. Taittiriya Upanishad told us, Etadannamayamatmanam upasankramati, Etam pranamayamaatmanam upasankramati, Etam manomayamatmanam upasankramati, Etam vijnanamayamaatmanam upasankramati, Etadandamayamatmanam upasankramati. That's what that second in Brahmanandavalli we will see that it describes the 5 koshas, and the sadhaka actually traverses, transcends, crosses all the koshas. So pare koshe is that innermost after all the koshas are exhausted. Pare koshe. Brahma. These are all talking about where this Brahman is. Hiranmaye Pare Koshe. Then you have Virajam, Nishkalam, and Shubram. All the three are in Dvitiya Vibhakti. So they are all describing about the Brahman. These are the Lakshanas of the Brahma. Virajam, Nishkalam, and Shubram. These are the three descriptions of the Brahman. So Raja is sort of dirt or impurity or something, or stain or something, some stain. Viraja is stainless, without. V is actually without. So Virajam is one Lakshana, which is stainless. Then Nishkalam. Kala means part. So Nishkalam means without part, which means it is indivisible sort of, which cannot be divided into pieces or something like that. So that is the second Lakshana of Brahman, which is being told in this mantra. Virajam, Nishkalam, then Shubram. Tat Shubram, Tat Shubram, that you see in the second line. Shubram means pure, absolutely pure. That is called Shubram. So Virajam is without any impurities. When you say without any impurities, there is nothing like internal impurity or external impurity, nothing. It is without any impurities. Nishkalam, as I told, it has no division or no parts. And Shubram, see the difference between Shubram and Virajam is something can be, impure, something can be, without stain. Now, little later it can get stained. Suppose you have a cloth, you just washed it, and after you wash and dry it, it may be Virajam, meaning there is no stain, nothing. But after a day's use, something might have fallen, a cup of while drinking coffee, a little bit of coffee might have fallen, while eating, sambar would have fallen on your dress or something. So it becomes Rajam. Whereas Shubram is eternally, it is always pure, always stainless. So it is pure. That is what Shubram means. It is not polluted ever. So while Virajam is a sort of a temporary measure of purity, Shubram says it is always pure. So there are three Lakshanas that you have: Virajam, Nishkalam, and Shubram. And where is it located? Hiranmaye Pare Koshe. It is in that ultimate innermost sheath, which is golden and bright. Golden is also used to indicate bright and lustrous and all that. So it is located that this Brahma is Virajam, Nishkalam, and Shubram, and it is located in Hiranmaye Pare Koshe. Then there is another beautiful description, Lakshana of Brahman, in addition to Virajam, Nishkalam, and Shubram. The fourth description is Jyotisham Jyotihi. Jyotisham Jyotihi means it is the light of all lights. So that is Jyotisham Jyotihi. That is what the next line it says. Then it says Tat Brahma. So Tat Brahma, that Brahman is Virajam. Tat Brahma is Nishkalam. Tat Brahma is Shubram. Tat Brahma is Jyotisham Jyotihi. That is what that Tat is for all these. For a Shubram, there is already a Tad. So the other Tad can be used for Virajam and Nishkalam and all that. Tad Brahma actually. Then it says, Yat Atma Vido Viduhu. Those who know the Atman, the knower of the Atman, Atma Vidaha, the knower of the Atman, indeed knows this. They are the knowers of this. So this is how it is just straight meaning of this shloka. So this Virajam, if you look at Shankara Bhashya, this Nishkalam, Virajam, Shubram, all these are explained with a little bit of additional commentary. Pare Koshe, for example, why is it called Pare Koshe? So if you take Pare Koshe, why is it called ultimate? Shankara says, Atma Swarupa Upalabdhi Sthanatvat. That is, the previous 6-8 mantras said that only. It said that Brahman is available in your heart. That's what the earlier mantras said. So the Atma Swarupa is available. Upalabdhi means obtained. So Atma Swarupa Upalabdhi Sthana. That is the ultimate place where you eventually discovered the Atman. That is why it is Pare Kosha. That is one reason. So that's what he says. Atma Swarupa Upalabdhi Sthanatvat. Also he says, Sarva Abhyantaratvat. It is the innermost. Abhyantara is inner. Sarva Abhyantaratvat. It is the innermost of everything. You peel off everything. You know, Pranamaya Kosha, Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, Anandamaya Kosha. You have to take. That is what in Taittiriyopanishad, the father tells the son, Brihirvaiva Runihi Varunam Pitaram Upasasara Adihi Bhagavo Brahmeti. So he said, Father, tell me what is this Brahman? Tagum ho vacha. So the father told him, Tapasa Brahma Vijijñāsasva Tapo Brahmeti. He said, through tapas you find out. That is called Brahman. So this Brihu went and did deep contemplation and tapas. Satapo tapyata satapas taptva annam brahmeti vyajanat annadyeva kalvimani bhutani jayante annena jatani jivanti. So this Brihu, oh okay, annam must be the Brahman, because all living beings survive or born because of the vitality that we have got through the food and etc. Like that he came. Again he came to his father. His father said, Tapasa Brahma Vijijñāsas. Once again he said the same thing. Tapasa Brahma Vijijñāsas. He again went, Satapodam Tapyata. Then he said, Pranam Brahmeti Vyajanat, like that. So he went again and again and again. Finally he reached it. That's why Sarva Abhyantaratvat. This is the innermost of everything. That is why it is Pare Koshe. So Adi Shankaracharya gives two reasons why it is called Pare Koshe. Atmaswarupa Upalabdhi Sthanatvat. That is reason one. Sarva Abhyantaratvat iti Dvitiyaha Karanaha. The second reason is it is the innermost and ultimate of everything. Then Virajam. What is this Virajam? What is this? No stain or no dirt or something that we talk about. He says, Avidyadi, Avidya, etc. Adi means etc. Avidya is what confuses us. Avidya is the dirt that we all carry. So Avidyadi, Asesha Dosha, Rajomala Varjitam. Varjitam is devoid of. Varjitam means devoid. So what is Virajam? Virajam means one who is devoid of avidya, dosha, asesha. It is not even a sesha. Everything is completely devoid of all doshas, and this rajomala, this mala that this ahankara and all this mala that comes out of rajas, rajomala. So avidyadi asesha dosha rajomala varjitam. That is his definition of virajam. A person who is devoid of the avidya, all doshas, and this rajomala, that person is the virajam. Then nishkalam. Nishkalam, as I told you already, nirgataha. Nirgataha means gone. Nirgataha kalaha. Parts are all gone, which means there are no more parts. Yasmad. From that person, there are no divisibility possible. Tat nishkalam. So that is called nishkalam. Or niravayavam, indivisible, whatever you can say. Shubram. Shubram means Shuddham. So these are some of the comments of Shankaracharya on these, Brahma Lakshanam, which is there in this mantra. Now, the most important thing is Jyotisham Jyotihi. So let us try to understand what is this Jyotisham Jyotihi. So what is Jyoti? Jyoti is light, right? One way to understand Jyoti, is light. So it is the light of all lights. That's what in English translation also I have put it here. So what is light? Modern science, let us go by modern science. See, I am able to see a computer in front of me. I am able to see there is a, I have a book on my left side. There is a, my specs box is there. Some books are on the right hand side. How am I able to see this? I am able to see all that because science tells me light is thrown on it. If light is not thrown on it, I will not be able to see any of this. That's why in a pitch dark room, I will not be able to see any of this. So light, so what is Jyoti? One way to understand Jyoti is that which is able to help an individual. In other words, what it means is, it is a light of in whose presence, light is what? In whose presence objects are revealed, right? That is called, light. That is an easy way to understand this Jyoti. Now, you take the world of objects. Now, what is the Jyoti for this world of objects? Sun. Sun is the only source of light. Only because of sun. I have a tube lamp here, and there is light coming from the tube lamp. Now, the source of light for that is also sun, because this electricity is coming from a certain, solar cycle actually. So therefore, the world of objects is revealed by the sun. So sun must be the Jyoti, so to speak. Sun must be the Jyoti. So that is how we should say, because it reveals the world of objects to us. Now, if you take the night time when sun is not there, then you have two sources. One is moon, which is anyway the derived source of sun. Moon borrows its light only from the sun. Of course, you have the stars, the luminaries, the celestial luminaries, which is also, they all reflect light from so many suns, not just in our solar system. There are so many suns, and the luminaries are all reflecting lights. The luminaries are far away, so we are not able to directly draw it as we are far away. But anyway, are the Agni. These are the source of light, so they can also be called Jyoti now. And they derive their source of the Jyoti part, the Jyoti hood, if I have to use the word Jyoti hood, or the light hood. They derive it only from the sun. So Jyotisham Jyoti, at a first level, if you properly want to understand, it must indicate sun, right? So the sun, and the sun actually, sheds the light on moon, sun and moon, and maybe stars and other celestial luminaries. These are the Jyoti. That is what we can say. But then, how do I know that the sun is actually radiating the light? I mean, how do I see the light? Sun is, of course, radiating. How do I see the light? Only then I come to a conclusion, right? So even to see this, so I supply light to sun. I supply this possibility. I means every individual. Every individual, through a faculty called eyes, actually enable this whole process. Otherwise, it doesn't happen. For a blind man, all these makes no meaning. For a blind man, we say there is a sun and there is a moon. I mean, it is as good. I mean, it's not a very interesting conversation for a blind man, because, it doesn't make any sense to that person. So in a way, the sun, moon, and the other luminaries, they actually get their source of light. I mean, not they get. When we say light, we mediate that light through our indriyas. I mean, light in the strictest sense of the term, we need the eye. But the idea of a light is to reveal an object. then all the other Indriyas can also play a role. You know, when it is pitch dark, if you make a sound playing the veena, I know there is a veena there. There's a person playing the veena because I use my faculty called hearing. Therefore, the Indriyas actually are the one which mediate the whole process of Jyoti. So that is the difference between a person who is blind and a person who is not, or a person who is dumb or deaf and things like that. So we actually recognize that the sun is the source of light only through a medium called our Indriyas. So now the Indriya also is a Jyoti now. How can you not say Indriya is not a Jyoti? Because it serves the same purpose. So that is also Jyoti. But then Indriyas don't work by themselves. Indriyas are in a way inert. It is the mind which is actually supplying the Jyoti for the Indriyas. That's why if some people are not attentive in the class, they don't hear. If the mind is not with them, with the faculty that called I, they will not see. That's why they say, no, I never saw it. Whereas somebody else saw it. Both of us were in the same room. I say I didn't see it, and you say you saw it. Why? Because your mind was with the Indriya called I, whereas my mind was not with the Indriya called I. One can say the same thing with all the Indriyas. Your mind was with the Indriya called the sound here, so you heard. Whereas I said, no, I didn't hear it. We were both in the room. You said, I heard it. He said, I heard it. I say, no, I didn't hear it. What it means is the mind is not actually supplying that power to the Indriya. So therefore now mind is the Jyoti. It is not the Indriyas. Mind is the Jyoti, and therefore the mind must be the Jyoti which mediates the Indriyas, through which we even recognize sun, etc., and then this world of objects are revealed to us. So mind must be the Jyoti. But then mind is not the Jyoti. It is the Buddhi. Because sometimes the mind is energized only by the Buddhi, or more seriously, I would say the consciousness. Finally, the source is the consciousness. The consciousness illuminates the Buddhi illuminates the mind illuminates the Indriyas, and therefore the Indriya is now able to illuminate the entities called sun, moon, etc. It also through that medium able to see the world of objects. So when you say Jyotisham Jyotihi, what it may possibly mean is we are talking about the consciousness. It is the consciousness which is the ultimate source of Jyoti. And that is the difference between a dead man and a living man. For a dead man, through the eye, the world of objects are never revealed. The Indriyas have all become inert, because mind is also inert. It is made of the Trigunas. It is inert matter. The Buddhi is also inert. It is only the consciousness which enlivens everything. It is the Chit. These are all Sat in some ways. It is the Chit, which is the consciousness which energizes, supplies everything through this whole system. And so when we say Jyotisham Jyotihi, what it must mean is actually our consciousness. The consciousness is that the Atma Jyoti must be the right Jyotisham Jyotihi. That must be the meaning of this mantra that is here, because all the others are only external lights, whether it is sun or moon or electricity or stars or a lamp lit with something, or a battery. All these are actually external lights, and all these external lights make sense to an individual only because there is an internal light. That internal light radiates, which is called consciousness, and that internal light, which is Swayam Prakasha, that radiates through the Buddhi, mind, Indriyas, etc. And then the world of objects is revealed. So therefore, the Jyotisham Jyotihi in this mantra actually points to the Atma Jyoti, which is what the earlier mantras were talking about in the meditation and all that. So that is the meaning of it. Actually, this whole idea that I have covered now, this whole idea was so beautifully revealed by the shortest composition of Adi Shankaracharya called Ekashloki. That exactly brought this idea. This Jyotisham Jyotihi was so compactly described by Shankaracharya in his Ekashloki. I mean, the story behind that was that there is one old man who went to Acharya and asked, who am I, what am I made up of, kind of a question. And in reply to it, the conversation between the two is actually what made this whole thing between Acharya and the old man came out in the form of a what is called Ekashloki. So this is how it is. Kim Jyotistava. So Acharya asked, Kim Jyotistava, what is your source of light? That's the question Acharya asked. Kim Jyotistava. Then he said, Banuman Ahani me. Oh Acharya, during Ahani, daytime, Banuman, sun is my source of light. That's what that old man replied. Ratro, then Acharya asked, what about the night? Sun is not there in the night. Pradipadikam. These Adi means etc. Anything which throws light. It may be a lamp, it may be the moon, it may be other celestial luminaries, etc. etc. So Ratro Pradipadikam. Syat evam. Let it be so. Then he asked, Ravi Deepa Darshana Vido, how did you see the sun and the lamp, etc., etc.? Because science tells that unless you throw light, you cannot see. So how did you see the sun? Some other source of light must actually be there. Ravi Deepa Darshana Vido Kim Jyotihi Akyahi me. Please tell me, what is your source of light for seeing and knowing this Ravi and Deepa, which you actually quoted? Then he said, Chakshuhu. Oh, Acharya, that is my eyes. So now we have come to Indriyas in this picture. Chakshuhu. That's what the old man said. Then Acharya asked, Tasya Nimilinadi Samaye. When you close your eyes, what is the source? Because, in the night, we just close our eyes, go to sleep, and have a fantastic dream. And the dream is well lit. The dream is fully lit. Because in the dream, we watch a movie, we run, we catch a train, we play football, we go with somebody and eat some dosa somewhere. All kinds of things happen so vividly. In fact, in the waking stage, you may need a spectacle to see. Whereas in the dream state, you don't even need a spectacle. There is so much light, your eye is also corrected. So, Niminiladi Samaye, what about the time when you close your eyes? What is your source of light? Kim, Niminiladi Samaye Kim. Then he says, Dihi. Oh, that is my buddhi. I think my intellect is the source of light. Then Acharya asked, Diyo Darshane, how do you know your buddhi here? Some light must be thrown on it. Unless some light is thrown on it, you don't know it. So, Diyo Darshane Kim. Then this old man said, Tatra Aham, I am that. So what he meant by I am is that consciousness, that Atma Jyoti. Then Acharya said, Ataha, Tatraham Ato, Pavan Paramakam Jyotihi. You are that ultimate Jyoti. You are that ultimate source of light. That's what Acharya said. Bhavan Paramakam Jyotihi. Tadasmi Prabhu. Oh, I am that. The old man said, oh, I am that. Oh, Prabhu. I have now understood. I am that. So this Jyotisham Jyotihi is so beautifully conveyed by this mantra. Kim Jyotistava Banuman Ahani me Ratro Pradipadikam Syadevam Ravi Deepa Darshana Vidau Kim Jyotirakyahi me Chakshustasya Nimilanadi Samaye Kim Dibdiyo Darshane Kim tatrahamato bhavan paramakam jyotistadasmi prabho. So he said that is your ultimate source of light. So this Jyotisham Jyotihi must be understood like this. In this Upanishad, when it says Jyotisham Jyotihi, it is not available at a very remote, unreachable place. It is that Atma Jyoti. That Atma Jyoti, which is the ultimate source of light. Now, there are many ways to understand it. How do you know it is pitch dark? To know pitch dark, there must be some light which must throw on it to say this is pitch dark. Only then you will know, using the principles of science. So what is that light? That light is that consciousness. Or take another example. What happens when you sleep? Deep sleep without any meditation. You get up and said, I had a good sleep. I was alone. I was embodiment of happiness. But how did you get? There was somebody, some light which is observing. That I did not know anything is a knowledge. And for to get that knowledge, some light has to be thrown. So that is that consciousness. That is that Atma Jyoti. That is the meaning of this Jyotisham Jyotihi. So that is what this mantra says. So this mantra is actually saying that Hiranmaye Pare Koshe, that Brahman, Virajam Brahman Nishkalam, that Brahman is Viraja, it is Nishkala, Shubram, Tat Shubram, Jyotisham Jyotihi, then it says, Yat Tat Atma Vidoho Viduhu. Those who did that meditation, the earlier mantras talked about it. So those who knew the earlier, did what the earlier mantras said, who did the meditation and then located that, they know this. They know, oh, this is the ultimate source of all light. Light means knowledge. Light is equal to knowledge. So when you say Jyotisham Jyotihi, this is the Paravidya, basically. Because once I know it, I know everything. So that is what this mantra is saying. We will go to the next mantra. In fact, look at this shloka from Bhagavad Gita. Same idea, Bhagavad Gita, that's why Bhagavad Gita is the proxy for Upanishad. The same idea what you found in the Mundakopanishad second section, that 10 mantras is available here. What is it saying? Jyotishamapi tad jyotihi tamasaparam uchyate jnanam jneyam jnanagamyam hridi sarvasya vishtitam. This is the 18th shloka in chapter 13, Kshetra Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yoga. So what it says exactly the same thing. Jyotishamapi tad jyotihi. It is the light, source of all source of light. All source of light, this is the source. Jyotishamapi tad jyotihi tamasa paramuchyate. This is beyond the darkness. When this is there, there is no room for darkness. Tamasa paramuchyate. Then jnanam jneyam jnanagamyam. The known, the knower, and the process of knowing or the goal of knowledge, everything is the same. It's called Triputi. All the three are same. Hridi sarvasya vishtitam. That is what this whole Mundakopanishad second mantra was saying. Look at everything in Hiranmaye Pare Koshe. Hridi sarvasya vishtitam. So this one shloka in chapter 13 of Bhagavad Gita, in a way, summarizes the second section of the second chapter of Mundakopanishad. That is what this shloka is all about. Because it talks about the heart, which is the seat of everything, and it talks about Jyotisham tat Jyotihi. That is what this Bhagavad Gita shloka is all about. We'll move to the next mantra. This is a very famous mantra. Na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam nema vidyuto bhanti kutoyam agnihi tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. Na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam nema vidyutaha bhanti kutaha ayam agnihi kutoyam agnihi tam eva bhantam anubhati sarvam tasya bhasa Sarvam idam vibhati. See, in the previous mantra, the earlier mantra, we used Jyotisham Jyotihi. Now, this is actually explaining that Jyotisham Jyotihi. It once again explains that single word, Jyotisham Jyotihi. So, what is it saying? Na tatra suryo bhati. In the Sannidhana of that Atma Jyoti, the Atma Jyoti is the reference there, which is the, Jyotisham Jyotihi, which is the ultimate Jyoti in any case, right? In that context, what happens? Na tatra suryo bhati. Now the sun does not shine. The sun does not shine there. Na chandra tarakam. Not about, not this Chandra, na the Taraka, not the stars. None of those luminaries, none of those light actually measure up to this light. That's what it is saying. Na tatra suryo bhati, na chandra tarakam, na ima vidyutaha. Even this lightning is so powerful. Sometimes what we find is that the lightning is quite strong. Lightning is quite powerful, right? So, na ima vidyuto bhanti, even lightning, you cannot even count it in the context of this. Kutaha, ayam agnihi, what to speak of this fire? Fire is a small version of light. Fire is really a small version of light. So, what to talk of the fire? It says, Kuto ayam agnihi, what to speak of this fire? So, what is it saying? It is not saying sun is not great, or the light that sun provides is not great. What it says is, without the context of this light, that light has no meaning. I already talked about it. I said, if I am not able to see, then the sun is a no entity for me. This moon is a no entity for me. So moon and sun get their utility and gaurava only when I am able to see it. Otherwise, they are of absolutely no meaning to me. And imagine if for every one of us it is like that. That in that context only, this shining is all okay. That shining is moderated by this shining. This shining is moderated, as we already saw. The Jyoti of the eyesight is moderated by the Jyoti of the mind. The Jyoti of the mind is moderated by the Buddhi, etc., etc. All that we say in that context. So one can say the same thing about Chandra, Taraka, lightning, all those. That's what so the first line in a way once again explains Jyotisham Jyotihi in so many terms which I already explained. I actually used the previous picture of stars, other luminaries, moon, sun, how they are moderated through the Indriyas, how the Indriyas are controlled, the supplied the Jyoti for the etc. All these, this entire trajectory is actually mentioned by this part by the Upanishad mantra. That's why it says, Natatra Suryo Bhati, Na Chandra Tarakam, Nema Vidyuto Bhanti Kutoya Magnihi. Then it says, Tam Bhantam Eva Anubhati. So that single source of light, which is that ultimate source of light, Tam Bhantam Eva Anubhati. Anu means follows. Anubhati means every light derives its context, derives its relevance, derives its meaning only when this Jyoti is there. And this Jyoti is nothing but the ultimate Jyoti. Jiva Brahma Aikya is what this mantra is painstakingly talking in all these previous 8-9 sections, 8-9 mantras of this section. Therefore, Tam Bhantam Eva Anubhati Sarvam. All so-called Jyoti, all so-called sources of light actually derive their relevance, context, and meaning only from this source, which is that Param Jyoti. Tameva Bhantam Anubhati Sarvam. Tasya Bhasa, his light, that Param Jyoti, that which is also manifesting as a Atma Jyoti, that light, Sarvamidam Vibhati, that alone provides light for everything that you have in this world. Now, what happens is, see, you take a lamp. A lamp can reveal so many things, right? But a lamp does not need anything to reveal it. In the process of revealing everything, it reveals it also, because it is in the same context of that light, the lamp is also understood. Or in other words, so the lamp is the revealer. The objects that we see because of the light that it through is revealed. So the revealed and the revealer are not the same. So we have to understand this part very well. The revealer and revealed are not the same, right? And the revealer does not need any support. That's why the moment you light the lamp is also seen already. In the same light, the lamp is also seen, while it is also revealing so many other objects. So when the sun shines, the sun reveals everything, but in that process, the sun also has revealed itself. So the revealer does not need any support, whereas the revealed needs support. So every source which is an artificial light requires support from a primordial source of light. That primordial source of light is what it is. Tasya Bhasa, that light of that primordial source, Sarvamidam Vibhati. It actually, radiates and illuminates everything in this creation. Now, the interesting part, I do not know how many of you know, this mantra, this mantra is frequently uttered. Next time you go and see a puja, check when they will actually utter this mantra. When this mantra is uttered, when the deity, they do Deeparadhana, when the camphor is lit or the oil, the Deeparadhana they do, at that time they tell this mantra. It has a very interesting connotation. When that camphor or that Deeparadhana is shown to the god, they say, Natatra Suryo Bhatina Chandra Tarakam Nema Vidyuto Bhanti Kutoyam Agnihi Tameva Bhantam Anubhati Sarvam Tasya Bhasa Sarvamidam Vibhati. So the idea is, when you see the Pratima of the Lord, when you see, or the picture for which you do puja, when this small camphor is lit, at that time you should actually think of this larger source of Param Jyoti. That is why this mantra is uttered while that Deeparadhana is done. People who know the meaning will understand the deep significance of why this mantra is uttered when that Deeparadhana is done. That is how it is done. So whenever they show Deeparadhana, they actually, next time you watch, if you go to some big puja and all that, the Purohits, when the Deeparadhana happened, there are a few mantras, they say one of them is this. That is the idea. When you are seeing this light, you should transcend your understanding that there is an ultimate source of light from which all these sources of light indeed come. So that is what we must remember. That's why this mantra is a famous mantra. It is used in the puja whenever Deeparadhana is done for the deity, because we should remember that Param Jyoti, which is lighting the whole world, including us, and we are that, because that same is the Atma Jyoti here. So that is what this mantra is saying. Then comes the last mantra of this section. Brahmhai Vedam Amritam Purastat Brahma Paschat Brahma Dakshinastaschotarena Adaschordvam cha prasrutam Brahmhai Vedam Vishwamidam Varishtam. So let me do a bit of a Padacheda here. Brahma eva idam amrutam purastat Brahma paschat Brahma dakshinataha, cha uttarena. All those are in sandhi in the last. Dakshinataha, cha uttarena, adas cha urdhvam in the second line. Adas cha urdhvam cha prasrutam. Brahma eva idam, Brahmaivedam, Brahma eva idam, Vishwam idam varishtam. So finally, the second section of Mundakopanishad says, because that is what it has said in so many mantras in the previous 10 mantras, it wants to conclude by saying, Brahma eva idam amritam. Idam, by showing this world of what you see, it is nothing but Brahma eva. It is nothing but that ultimate God particle, which is Amritam, which is immortal, which is, that's why the Karana Karya we saw in the first section of the second Mundaka, we saw it in great detail. You can destroy a Karya, but you cannot destroy a Karana. You can destroy a furniture, the woodness cannot be taken. The ornament can be melted. The gold cannot be taken out. So Karana can never be destroyed. Karya can be destroyed. That's why the mortal body can fall, but that God particle you cannot destroy. It will, morph and go somewhere. That's why it is Amritam. So Brahma eva idam Amritam. It concludes and reminds us once more the 4 teachings of this Dvitiya Mundaka. Then it says Purastad. He says it is at the front. Paschat, it is at the back. Where is Brahma? This Brahman. The Brahman is at the front, at the back. Brahma Paschat. Then it is on the right side, Dakshina Bhaga, or the Uttara Bhaga, or Vama Bhaga, whatever you want to say. Dakshina and Uttara are opposite use. It is not in the sense of north and south. In a way, it is a sense of north and south, but if you stand east facing, your right side will be actually south, your left side will be actually north. That's why it's called Dakshina Bhaga. Right side is called Dakshina Bhaga, the left side is called Vama Bhaga or Uttara Bhaga. So Brahma is also on the right side. Brahma is also on the Uttara, which is the left side. Adascha Urdhvam. Brahma is also below. Brahma is also above. Urdhvam. Urdhvam is top. Adaha is bottom. Adana below. So Brahma is at the front. Brahma is at the back. Brahma is at the right. Brahma is at the left. Okay. Brahma is on the above us. Brahma is below us. In other words, the Upanishad says Brahma is in Dasha Dik. Brahma eva idam vishwam, idam varishtam. This entire world is nothing but Brahman. Please understand that. Whichever way you turn. See, I am reminded of a very interesting story. There is this famous, Tamil great philosophical lady, Auvayar. And this is a story which conveys this particular shloka. And the story goes like this. One day, this Auvayar was sitting in a temple with her legs stretched. Old lady, so she is not able to sit cross-legged. Her legs, she was stretching her legs towards the Garbhagriha. The presiding deity is there and her legs are facing towards that. She was sitting like that. Okay. Then Parvati and Parameshwara were going. So Parvati said, what is this? This lady is so disrespectful. This is a Shiva temple and she is sitting with her legs stretched towards the deity. This is not correct. I am not going to go and ask what is happening. So Shiva said, no, she is a very great lady and she is a very person who has realized the soul. Don't, I think, do all these. No, this is not correct. I am going to go and ask her. So Parvati comes down apparently and asks Auvayar, why are you sitting like this? Auvayar asks, why? What is the problem? Then Parvati says, You are stretching your leg towards the god. Don't you think it is inappropriate? Then Aware said, oh, that is what you are asking. Please show me a direction in which there is no God. I will stretch my leg towards that direction. Apparently, that is the answer. That was the reply she gave. Well, I know that may look very, not necessarily a very interesting thing, but the message there is exactly this mantra. Aware said, show me a direction where God is not there, so that I will stretch my leg there. So her notion of God is that Purastad, Brahma Paschat, Brahma Dakshinatah, Cha Uttarena, Adascha Urdhvam Cha Prasitam, Brahma Eva Idam Vishwamidam Varishtam. So that is what that story is meant to describe this. So the Upanishad concludes this second section. The Dvitiya Mundaka, Dvitiya Khanda, ends with this mantra in which it says, remember that Brahman is everywhere. You don't have to, that's why it's a Nishkalam. There is no parts. It's everywhere. You cannot, break it and say it is on this direction, it is not on this direction, and so on. The previous mantra, anyway, it used the word Nishkalam. Now, again, I will quote 2 shlokas from Bhagavad Gita, where this idea comes out very clearly. This idea, what you see in this mantra, is available in these 2 shlokas in Bhagavad Gita. In chapter 10, Vibhuti Yoga, at the end of so many examples that Krishna gave, this shloka comes. Yachapi sarva bhutanam bijam tadaham arjuna na tad asti bina yasyani maya bhutam yataha yatasyan maya. I don't know how to yatsyan vina yat syat. Oh, okay. Na tad asti vina yat syat maya bhutam characharam. The syat has become syan because of the makara. Okay. So what do you say? Echapi sarvabhutanam bijam tadaham arjuna. Whatever you see in the seed of all living beings is me. Na tad asti vina. So now he talked about the first line, Krishna talked about living beings. The second line, he talks about everything. Na tad asti vina. Yat syat maya bhutam chara acharam. Moving, non-moving, chit, jada, padartha, everything that you take, I am there. There is nothing without me. That's what Krishna concluded the Vibhuti Yoga by this shloka. Similarly, in chapter 7, he said, Matta parataram nan yat kinchidasti dhananjaya mayi sarvamitam protam sutre manigana iva na matta parataram na anyat kinchidasti. There is nothing, not a speck of dust other than me. Hey Dhananjaya, everything that you see is me alone. So Bhagavad Gita, this mantra, this 11th mantra which is there in Mundakopanishad, Bhagavad Gita explains it so beautifully, so nicely in a simpler fashion with these 2 shlokas. I thought I wanted to just cross-quote this to remind you that Gita is always the source for everything. Everything that is in the Upanishad is available in the Gita. I think with this we will close this second Mundaka, and Shankara Bhashya ends with a very beautiful statement at the end of this. It says, Abrahma Pratyayaha Sarva Avidya Matraha. That which is Abrahma, without Brahman, are all Avidya. Abrahma Pratyayaha Sarvaha Avidya Matraha. Rajamiva Sarpa Pratyayaha. Just like seeing the snake in the rope. It's like that. Brahmaiva Ekam Paramartha Satyam Iti Vedanushasanam. So Shankaracharya concludes by saying this mantra, this whole Mundaka, the second Mundaka of Mundakopanishad establishes that anything which is Abrahma is Avidya. It is only Brahmaiva Ekam Paramartha Satyam. This is Veda Shasanam, Anushasanam. That is what Shankaracharya ends his commentary on this with this particular statement. I think with this we will close it. With this we complete the Dvitiya Mundaka. Then we will from next week see the Tritiya Mundaka, which is the last in this series. With this we will close here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shubharatrihi.